You got no business wearing eyeshadow if you don't know how to blend. I said what I said. It's 2024. Let's get it together. So if you don't know how to blend your eyeshadow, keep watching. I did this for you. And I also did this for me because I'm tired of seeing people with crazy eyeshadow on the internet, on social media. We're going to be going in depth. And when I say we, I mean yes, you and me, I and you, together. We're going to be going in depth on how to blend your eyeshadow, the right brushes you need, hand placement, and everything you need so that you can be a blending queen. Enough of the eyeshadow tragedy that I'm seeing on social media where now's the time. Now's the time. For those of you that may not know me, hi, how are you? My name is Safai Kelly, your makeup bestie. And for my returning besties, hey, hi, hello, what's up, glam fam? We're going to be diving into how to blend your eyeshadow. I'm honestly so in shock as to how I've never done one of these videos before, so I'm excited. I'm excited to go on this journey with you and help you blend your eyeshadow so that you can be blending with confidence. All right, so let's get into this. Okay, so for today's look, for today's eyeshadow look, I think we need to do something simple. We're not gonna go crazy. I'm gonna be doing a basic eyeshadow look that you could consider soft glam, a great just like neutral sort of glam look. We're not gonna dive into any cut creases just yet. We need to learn how to blend. First and foremost, let's talk about tools. Now, if you don't have brushes, please go get you some brushes. A couple of brands that I highly recommend will be Morphe. Like, if you know about Morphe brushes, like OG, when Morphe had like a brush subscription, highly recommend Morphe for brushes. Also, Sigma Beauty started out doing makeup brushes as well, so I highly recommend them. Also, if you're looking for, you know, makeup brushes as your tools. Another brand I would recommend is Real Techniques. Their brushes are just beautiful. They're great. So yeah, do some research, figure out what you can get within your budget, and that is the first step, is having the brushes, because we need something to blend with, right? I'm gonna try my best to keep this simple and just really break it down into relatable terms so that you could be blending like a pro too. So I'm gonna go ahead and do one eye off camera, get it together, do a nice neutral soft glam look, and I'll be right back so we can get in depth into all the juicy blending details. Honestly, when you master blending, you will be unstoppable because you can use any colors you want. Once you got a good blend, once you got the skills down for blending, honestly, you're gonna be unstoppable. I'm so excited for you. So let's get into brush types, and these are gonna be the 3 brushes that I highly recommend so that you can achieve this blend. So we're gonna need a large, a medium, and a small brush. The large brush is going to be a big fluffy brush. The bristles are not dense. They're not tightly packed in. They're nice and loose and flexible. The next brush is going to be a medium brush. Now this medium brush is going to be a little bit more dense than the first brush, but not stiff. It's not a stiff brush. So it's got some flexibility to it, but it's not as flexible as our previous brush. Last but not least, our small brush is a little stiffer, but not completely stiff. I'm gonna show you what a really stiff brush looks like. So this is a more dense and stiff brush. The bristles are not very loose. They're not super flexible. We're not using a dense brush for this look. Okay, for our first eyeshadow shade, I'm gonna be using a nice transition shade for this look. And for my transition shade, I will be taking this shade right here. Whenever you dip into eyeshadow, please make sure that you tap off the excess, okay? Because we're gonna do a couple of layers and that's how we're gonna build up our color on the lid. So I go ahead and I tap off the excess. Don't blow into your brush, for the love of God. Please don't blow into your brush. No, none of that. Don't do it. Let's talk about hand placement real quick. So I'm towards the end, but not at the very end of my brush. The very end is gonna give me less control. It's gonna be a lighter sort of pressure. I want a little bit more control and a little more pressure, but I'm also not gonna be holding my brush here. I just want you to look at my hand placement too. I'm not like gripping my brush really firmly either. I've got a nice loose grip on my brush. So I'm gonna place the brush down here towards the outer. I'm gonna do small circular motions and then windshield wiper motions from side to side, but we're gonna do small circular and windshield wiper. It's sort of a mix of the two. I will say windshield wiper gives you direction. We're pulling the color here across, back and forth, or side to side. And circular motions diffuse. I hope that makes sense, but those are the different movements in blending to blend your eyeshadow. So we have the side to side to make the color travel, and then we have circular motions to buff out and diffuse that color. When you're working with a fluffy brush like this and the bristles are loose in the brush, it really does the work for you. It diffuses everything beautifully and really softly, and it's almost impossible to get harsh lines when you use a nice fluffy loose brush like this. So now I'm kind of focusing on the outer corner and just dragging this shade out. I'm just sort of flicking it out, and we're gonna do circular motions as well and work it up into the brow area. Just look at the blend. It looks really seamless. It looks very airbrushed, and we've built up some color already. Now it's time for our second shade and our second brush. I'll be taking this shade that is slightly deeper than our first shade, and we're gonna use this to add some depth into the crease and sort of shape the eye a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and use my medium-sized brush that is a little firmer than the first brush that we used. Once you dip into your eyeshadow, always make sure that you tap off the excess. Because the bristles are a little bit stiffer, we're gonna get more control with our color. So I'm gonna pat first before I go ahead and start blending, and I'm patting on the outer corner to kind of build up the color here. Once there's less product on my brush, I'm gonna go ahead and start doing circular motions and then slowly start working that shade into the crease. Hand placement here is also very similar to the first brush. Once there's even less product on my brush, I'm gonna do windshield wiper motions side to side and bring that color towards the inner corner. But because there's less product, it's not going to show up very dark. It's going to be gradual. We're going to gradually build up that intensity to where you want it, of course. I'm going to go ahead and repeat that same step to intensify the deeper shade that we have going on. So I'm going to pat, 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 and start doing my circular motions to buff out the color and slightly dragging out just a little bit. And then we're gonna make that color travel by using our side to side windshield wiper motions to sort of build this color up here. Don't be afraid to go back and forth between your brushes, between shades. That's how you get like a really nice blend. If you see anything that needs a little bit of tweaking, get in there and blend it out. So I'm just dipping into that first shade again with my fluffy brush, tapped off the excess, and I'm just gonna go ahead and really concentrate that right here because I feel like we kind of lost the transition shade a little bit. But I'm just working that right into the upper outer portion of the eye. Yeah, that's looking really nice. Really nice, really, really nice. Now it's time for the third shade and our third brush. I'm taking an even lighter shade, and that's what we're gonna pat onto the lid. So for our third brush, it is smaller. It is a little bit more dense. There's still some flexibility to the bristles. This brush, because it's a little firmer, gives us even more control over our pigment. Tap off the excess. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna pat and really concentrate this color in the inner portion of the eye. So this smaller, firmer brush gives us more control on our color placement. It's not gonna diffuse the color as much as a bigger, more loose bristled brush would. I'm gonna pat this color to meet the other half, the more deeper shades. If you feel like you have any harsh lines going on, you can take your big fluffy brush and lightly sweep right in between and kind of buff out and blend out any harsh lines you think you have or see. Now you could keep this 3 shades and take the second eyeshadow shade that I used with a small brush. You could clean this off and go right underneath. I'm actually gonna take a different brush. This is what we're stepping into now, so I guess we are kicking things up a notch and getting a little bit more advanced. Oop, don't mind if I do. So I'll be taking another brush, and this is gonna be a flat brush, and the bristles are, I would say, medium firmness. I'm gonna dip into my medium shade, and the way I'm dipping into this is I'm going straight on to the bristles. Tap off the excess. The eyeshadow is on the very tip of this brush, so I'm using the tip of this brush and I'm just gonna glide this along my lower lash line. Now the great thing about this is that since this brush is not very thin, it's not gonna give me just like a streak of eyeshadow. It's also gonna sort of blend that shade on my lower lash line. Make sure that you connect your eyeshadow in this corner right here from the bottom to the top. You wanna fill in this little gap. We're still taking things up a little bit because I'm gonna take a new shade, and this is gonna be the deepest shade of this look. It's gonna be like a nice espresso shade. I'm taking a smaller angled brush with medium firmness. You could take a pencil brush. Let me show you what a pencil brush is. So the white bristled brush is a pencil brush. You could take a pencil brush too, because it'll give you the same amount of control. And I'm taking this smaller brush with that darker shade and keeping it even closer to my lower lash line. I'm just gonna line my waterline with a black eyeliner. And this is just gonna define the eye just a little bit more. This has nothing to do with blending. I honestly feel like that was pretty easy, right? Like, I feel like I didn't overcomplicate the steps or the wording. I feel like this was easy to understand. But that's really it for the blending portion. I'm gonna finish up this eye and I'll be back so that we can talk about blending. Really? Are you seeing this? I only did some lashes and the lips and I'm obsessed with this look. It's a whole vibe. It's a mood. Like, we look so good. But wait, let's not get off track and lose focus. It was about the eyeshadow today. I feel like we achieved a very easy look today. We used minimal eyeshadows. I tried to keep it very simple with the tools, and it was really just about the blending. And I really hope that I got through to you, that you understood where I was going with all the directions, all the tips and the tricks, and just like how to blend seamlessly, how to achieve that seamless blend. I want to thank you so much for watching. I really hope that I'm helping you achieve your eyeshadow dreams, that we have nice blended beautiful eyeshadow. Now that you know the technique and the skill, you can use that with any shade you want. Your face is your canvas. You got this, and I'm rooting for you. I will say it doesn't happen overnight, okay? It's gonna take some practice. It's gonna take some time. Don't get frustrated. Don't give up. Keep trying. Keep trying, you got this. If you learned something today or you liked today's video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Feel free to drop some comments down below. What tip was your favorite tip? Or if you have tips to share, I'm always down to learn some new stuff, and I'm sure other people are too, so drop your tips down below in the comment section. I'm also on TikTok and Instagram, so I'll link those down below so you can catch me on other platforms. You made it here this far. We're like at the end of the video and you did not click that subscribe button, or if you did, thank you, but if you haven't yet clicked it, go ahead, show it some love. I want to thank you so much for joining once again, and I'll see you beautiful and amazing people in my next video. Thank you guys, and happy blending. Bye.